Now it's time to turn to the night games on the MLB card for Thursday. A lot of day games today in the baseball world. I've had my Tigers on TV for the last couple hours, Scooble on the Rock. And now here we are. We've got a few big-time matchups to choose from. Yankees-Red Sox rivalry is under the lights tonight in Fenway. We've got Twins-Mets, and the Mets have been rolling lately. And then Pirates-Rangers, another game to discuss. You're laughing, Dave.
Yeah, Mets rolling downhill. That is, yeah. But they are
so
back, man.
In a Mets way, not a Yankees way. You little Yankees fan.
Hey. I'll save it for when we get to the Mets game. But I very personally attacked the Mets yesterday with my wagering. But yeah, let's go right into it with the rivalry renewing tonight. Closing out the series here before the Yankees pick up another one versus the Astros this weekend. Yanks won the first 2, 5 wins in a row now for New York. Red Sox are last in the AL East. You can get an edge on them to cover plus 1.5. You can get an edge on Boston to win. And we've got an edge on the over 7.5 as well. But you've got a very tough matchup for Boston with Cam Schlittler taking the mound for New York. He's been excellent. He was very good last year. 1.95 ERA right now, 0.76 whip, 3 games, not giving up a single run. And you won't find this in the data, but there was a story this week about him and his family receiving some death threats from Boston's finest fans. So you got to assume he's a little extra motivated tonight, probably not going to take it lightly against the Sox lineup. But this Yanks lineup is super loaded, so the over might be feasible on their own. I would certainly lean that of the 3 plays, even putting my biases aside. It's just a very tough pitching matchup for Boston. Meanwhile, they're starting Peyton Tolle, maybe, a young left-handed pitching prospect, pitched just 16.1 innings last year, gave up 5 home runs in that, 1.59 whip, 6.06 ERA this year. Righties have had his number in his brief stint in the bigs so far. So it certainly feels like it's a Yankees game. It's the rivalry. It's baseball. Never know what's going to happen, in a game. But the matchup is certainly leaning on New York. The Dimers model tells you there's some value on Boston. I would personally just go with the over of the 3 and kind of avoid that negative pitching matchup as much as possible.
Yeah, I have my eye on the Sox starter. You mentioned him. Prospect could be a stud one day. Who knows? Only 16 innings last year and kind of got bombed in a couple of those starts. Mm-hmm. So, I think Yanks props have my full attention in this game. Is there anything specific you want to shout here?
Not much from the model here. The only prop is on Schlittler's, the under on his outs, which kind of correlates with the Red Sox covering and the money line edge. So I get that. He's under in 3, over in 2, but he also might have a longer leash tonight if he's dialed in. Given the drama, it's a decent edge here, a solid probability. Not for me personally. Again, I would just stick with the over from the main edges in this game that stand out. And then talking home run guys, obviously Judge leads our home run probabilities, but at around 19%, which is among the lowest that we have seen for him. You're not going to get an edge there at all. And then you got Giancarlo Stanton in second at 17.7%. Absolutely obliterated one over the monster onto the streets of Fenway in the first game of the series. Got some wind blowing in from that direction. Might be a little bit to contend with tonight. That is his preferred side to hit homers out to, but it's not exclusively. He spreads the ball all around. Hasn't hit lefties super well this year, but he's always been pretty even against both sides, so that should level out. Said literally the same thing about Kyle Schwarber the other night. Him not being able to figure out the lefty-lefty matchup yet, but historically being very solid in it. And then he went yard. So you can get Stanton at plus 416 on DraftKings, which is nearly a fair price. Aaron Judge is Aaron Judge. You got Ben Rice crushing the ball this year, but Giancarlo Stanton's got almost a fair price, which is pretty hard to get on these top slugger guys, and does line up pretty well for him.
Yep, I'm all over multiple Yankees here. I think Yanks is the side in this one. Lots of decent home run numbers. Obviously, no edges. You don't see them on the props, but if you just look projected home run probabilities on the player projections page tonight. There are a lot of Yankees at the top for the night slate. So whether it's Judge, which you're paying a premium on, obviously, Giancarlo, who's only 1% less likely than Judge to hit a home run. And then you mentioned Ben Rice, who's been mashing the ball. I feel like really the top 3 Yanks are all in play for a live bomb at Fenway tonight. More on that later in the show from you, Dave. But let's go to the second game on the card next. Twins and Mets. What do you see?
Yeah, the Mets are back, man. They won a game after dropping 12 straight. Maybe it was the Juan Soto back in the lineup, just his presence, maybe, or maybe it was because I put $5 on them, 100-1 to win or to not win for another week in an attempt to troll my Mets fan buddy. That certainly gave them the push they needed to break through and finally win a game. So Mets fans everywhere, you're welcome. And Steve, if you're listening, you do owe me a beer for my $5 bet. But tonight we favor the Mets at, 51% on the money line. That seems like it has gone down a little bit, concerning possibly for Mets fans there. And then on the run line, plus 1.5 to cover, Okay, so we've seen a little bit of movement here. Let me adjust my notes briefly on the fly because we had the opposite with the edges earlier, but so the Mets you can get, so that's what happens. The odds change. You get a better price on the Mets to cover on the other side, which changes things. Or if you get plus 1.5, minus 1.5, obviously different. But 64% for the Mets to cover plus 1.5 is solid. Not a lot for me to get invested in at just a 1% edge, though, after they only just seem to, get over their woes. And one game is not enough to start a confident streak in a team that just lost 12 straight and finding very creative ways to lose late in games, taking leads, and then not getting another run for the rest of the game. Once again, the best value, though, is on the over at 7.5, 54% probability. I do not hate that play at all. I will just mention it does not have the sweet spot that we like to see for totals because it's below that edge range, which is plays over a 5% edge. So that market has been very profitable, but tied to the higher edges. So just not quite getting that value that you want to see with the sweet spot here tonight. But the pitching matchup, I think, kind of leans a little bit in favor of that over. Mets are starting a pitcher they recalled from the minors, Christian Scott. Last through 46.8 innings in 2024 in the bigs. He gave up 8 dingers in that little span, and he missed last year for Tommy John surgery and has not pitched in the bigs since. Few quick stints in the minors this year. Joe Ryan's had a home run problem in the past. Been very good this year through 5 starts, though. Only one allowed, 0.88 whip. But I don't hate the Twins getting after the Mets bats today, starting a call up who is making his first appearance in the bigs in 2 seasons.
Yeah, I like that angle. I see that angle for sure. And shout out to the Mets for winning a baseball game, Dave. We love to see that, don't we?
Yeah, it's good for them.
It's very nice. All right, what other props are you looking at here? Anything big?
Not a ton of value again in this one. You get a little edge on Matt Wallner to pick up a hit. He's our second highest probability home run. Do with that what you will. An edge on both pitchers to go under their strikeouts. This is, again, a sweet spot market, but not here due to the edges. They are not at the correct price, at the right edge range. And honestly, for all the Mets struggles, strikeouts have not been one of them. And Scott is pitching his first big league outing in 2 years. Might not have, a lot of swing and miss stuff up against big leaguers that he has not faced before. Top home run probabilities, you got Byron Buxton, 17%. And then, like I said, Matt Wallner, our second highest probability at 15% for the Twins. I'm not interested in Mets hitters in this one because Joe Ryan has been so good this year. Doesn't mean nobody's going to get through, but I don't see anything that, makes me want to get behind any of those hitters. All 5 of Buxton's home runs come in the past 10 days. He hit in back-to-back nights, both in the 6th inning. Do something with that. But I would ride the hot hand without any edge on either any player in this game to speak of. Might have to deal with some wind gusts in that game. So another thing to look out for. Definitely check the weather before locking anything in. But you got some time.
Yep. Always check your weather reports, ladies and gentlemen. The number one rule of betting baseball props. All right. Third game on the card. We go to Texas next. Pittsburgh, Texas, Pirates, Rangers. And the model likes the Rangers tonight.
Yeah, nice little interleague clash here. Both teams in two of the tighter early division races. Kind of fun little trend here, except for one set of back-to-back wins against the Cubs. The Pirates have alternated wins and losses for their past 16 games. It doesn't necessarily mean anything, but it's a fun little trend. And the data kind of points to that continuing tonight. Almost a 60% probability for the Rangers to win and 42.2% for them to cover -1.5. Very slim little edge there. And then our lone sweet spot of the night for another over, all three overs, 7.5. It's kind of a fun little thing tonight. We got all three overs, 7.5 in baseball, and a little edge on all three road favorites in the NBA. Maybe a fun little nuclear parlay there, whatever. But fun little trends. Currently a 6% edge, which is what puts it into that sweet spot range because it's over 5%. You can hover over that and you can see the exact ROI is 16.0%. Over 120 bets over a 5% edge. So that's some pretty good early season results there. You got Jacob deGrom on the mound. Not going to find me fading Texas or the Dimers data in that situation. He's given up just 2 earned runs since he allowed 3 in his opening start. Seemed to be managing his innings a bit with only one game over 5.0 since then. So I'd maybe be a little cautious about taking any of his overs. He's not quite peak Mets deGrom, 2018, 2019 era, but he's still quite good. And then for the Pirates, you got Bubba Chandler. He pitched just 31 innings or so last year to a 4.02 ERA, pair of home runs. 3.15 ERA this year, 2 dingers through 20 innings. So, showing mostly the same stuff in small sample sizes, though. And then if you check our props here in this game, you're getting, 4 props. So you get the most you do out of any of these. I don't hate the under on Bubba Chandler's strikeouts. We had an edge and a sweet spot on Braxton Ashcraft in the same matchup last night. And that cash, you're getting 1 lower strikeout here in this one, but a really nice plus money edge. And then Josh Young on with a huge, not huge edge, 3.4%, but 12.6% probability at plus 980. He's got a bit of a hot bat right now. 3 home runs in his past 6 games. Hitting better and better since the start of the season. Looks like a really solid straight. I mean, you're getting almost 10-1 on a guy who's picked up 3 home runs in the past week or so, past 10 games. So, it's pretty good. Maybe it's the thundery outbreaks nearby that has put up his home run probability, 15-mile-per-hour winds. But they got a roof there. Yeah, so I don't know. We'll see. But another one, check the weather report. But Josh Young with a really nice home run edge tonight.
Maybe he just wakes up and doesn't like thunder. I mean, it can be a mental thing, even if you're, I'm just kidding, if you're playing inside. All right. Thank you for the preview there. We want to each split up the responsibility for a little home run parlay for Thursday night. I alluded that I'm going to go after one of your guys, a Yankee tonight, but you can go first, Dave. Who's our first leg?
Keep it nice and simple. Give me Byron Buxton for the reasons above. Hot bat, pitcher unfamiliar with big league hitters, top probability in the game, hitting back-to-back games. Give me Byron Buxton. Simple.
Love it. Simple is good. I am going to take a Yankee, and it's not Aaron Judge. I was in between Giancarlo and this man, and if Giancarlo homers and this man doesn't, I'm very angry. But I'm going with Ben Rice. Third most likely Yankee per the model tonight, 14% probability, not too far behind the Judge Giancarlo duo. But I really think this is a matchup to attack against an inexperienced starter that, has been bombed in limited appearances. I think the big Yankees bats tee off on guys like that. And Ben Rice this season, you mentioned his emergence. He has homered in 5 of their last 6 series. This is obviously the last opportunity to do so against Boston. He's coming off a rest day. He hasn't homered in 2 games this series. So we'll see if that trend continues. Feels like he never goes 4 or 5 games without a bomb. He's due. That's the word for it, Dave.
Yeah, not lately anyway. Definitely not. So there you have it. Byron Buxton, Ben Rice, plus 22.94 on FanDuel. I went ahead and threw a nice little boost on that to get it plus 34.41. And good luck, Greg. Good luck, Ben Rice. Good luck, Byron Buxton. Good luck to anybody tailing along.